Here is my review of Arizona Sunshine 2 in just 4 minutes. The original Arizona Sunshine is one of the few games I pined for when I finally got my hands on the first PSVR. Being a little late to the party, this, Beat Saber and Blood and Truth were my ultimate picks, and they mostly still hold up well to this day. However, Arizona Sunshine is very much a game of its time, with more rudimentary reload mechanics and a bit more pure spectacle than later titles started to rely on. In both the best and worst way, Arizona Sunshine 2 is a true sequel to the first. If you just want a few more hours of Arizona Sunshine with better graphics and nice mechanics, Arizona Sunshine 2 absolutely has you covered. However, I did feel like it could benefit from just a little more. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? Arizona Sunshine 2 is a very twisted story about salvation through the eyes of an isolated man, close to perhaps ending his own life, who wants to find a zombie that started it all. You leave your tiny little caravan, covered in the remains of his own declining mental health, bottles filled with urine, half-eaten, half-rotten burgers, zombies or Freds as they're called, in the distance. That is until a shining light cuts through the darkness of his own despair, a helicopter is approaching, and it's going down. Buddy, the nickname you give your little canine buddy, helps you hunt down Patient Zero, who's hinted at in the comms of the dead pilot. You adventure through malls, sewers, garages, and sewers 2 more times for some reason, to find him and get rescued by the people looking for him. You don't have grander plans, just a single plot of catharsis as you lament the world that used to be. The story is simple, but the jovial tone and brutal combat pull you into something bombastic and ridiculous in a pretty good way. Our main character is a one-liner spouting idiot, for lack of a better word, who's left constantly talking to zombies, Buddy, and himself, which is you. The game itself is quite short, at about 3 to 5 hours, so these one-liners are well placed, chastising you for popping a cigarette in your mouth or looking down when you're hanging from a height. Of course, the majority of these one-liners happen in the middle of combat, giving you a bit of cringe when you pop the head of 3 zombies, making a cool moment feel less cool in a way that works tonally quite well. The game is both outwardly and self-referential, with little jabs and nods at Half-Life, Breaking Bad, and a dozen others. The gameplay itself is tactile and fun, being realistic enough to feel weighty, but casual enough to feel easy in most moments. I played on PSVR 2 and my experience was pretty smooth throughout, except one scene with pyrotechnics near the end that I won't show for spoiler reasons. Like the first game, you have a bandolier, but you physically grab ammo from it to reload your weapons. This is a subtle but good choice. It slows you down a little, but a litany of resources around each map alerts you that this isn't a survival horror game. It's more akin to a House of the Dead on your feet. It's not on rails, as that might imply, but it's a game more focused on set pieces and quick reactions than long-term progression and puzzles. This does mean it starts to lose a little of its charm even in those couple of hours the game goes on for. You are given resources throughout it, but these are only used on a handful of thrown weapons which you only have 2 item slots in your inventory for. This left me with hundreds of unused resources by the end of the game. Buddy, your dog, is a great little addition and you're given the rudimentary ability to sick him on your enemies, but this actually makes some encounters a little easy due to his lack of a health bar of any kind and silent attacks. You can essentially sit on the sidelines and just wait for him to clear out areas. As well as this, there are a few minor glitches that mostly popped up near the end of the game and inconsistent visuals. While the glitches were a more common thing near the end of the game, those visual problems happen throughout. Early on, you make your way towards a gas station which is covered in smoke. That smoke effect fills the entire screen and looks generally just a bit muddy. As well as this, when the game does get tough, hits cover the screen in blood, which is both disorienting and oddly annoying, taking you out of the experience just a little. Arizona Sunshine 2 is only a few hours long, but somehow still runs dry of ideas by the end. At points it feels almost conceptualized to be even shorter than it originally is, and then padded out to take longer. This paradoxically leaves me wanting the game to be longer and shorter at the same time. An awkward middle ground for a game like this to exist in. The gameplay is fun enough to keep you playing, and I just wish more ideas were explored. A Horde mode does give some replayability outside of just running through the campaign with a friend, but I can't help but wish for a little more here. A few mini games or side missions could have stopped me from blazing through the story in just 2 sessions. Despite these criticisms, I did have an awful lot of fun with the game. The guns feel as good as any shooter and there's plenty of variety, from shotguns to Desert Eagles to grenade launchers. It's explosive in more than one way and filled with a video gamey kind of fun that tells your mind to shoot red barrels and aim for the head. It's a game that taps into the instinct you developed as a kid and thrives because of it. Arizona Sunshine 2 is a very solid follow-up to the original game, and while I wish it could have grown a little more alongside the medium it's on, I can't help but enjoy the ironic, for a zombie game, mindless joy of reloading my pistol, cocking it and firing at another wave of Freds. Do I really have to call them that? Thank you for watching my review. This is my first video review on a VR title. I really enjoyed the whole process of putting this together, even though it's a little unique for me. If you liked what you saw, please do subscribe. I'm so close to hitting 250 subscribers, which is a personal little milestone I'd like to hit. If you could help me out, that would be great. Thank you for watching.